This is the Podcast Wrestling Society. We are pre-taped and we are 100% censored to be able to make a PG-13 rating. I'm your loving leader, benevolent host, Midwest Monster, and the man who still believes in Booty Mania, Troy Adams. And joining me here today, he once took on the Alliance to end Gregomania in a Doomsday cage. He is the ultimate solution to my Z-Gangsta, Greg. What up, Greg?
What up?
My
God.
I had to reference the two most over guys on this whole card.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh.
I'll gladly take the guy who played Bane.
Oh, yeah. That was not Bane, okay? I don't care what they called him. That crap was not Bane. People can eat it. And Joel Schumacher can suck on it. Like, no, that was not Batman. That was not Bane. He freaking whipped out a damn credit card and said, never leave the cave without it. Like, God dang it. Anyway, let's, if you haven't figured it out by now, we are reviewing WCW Uncensored 1996 because why the hell not? I will say this. It was an improvement over 95, but then again, I think Eric Bischoff coming out, dropping Trow, and taking a dump in the middle of the ring was an improvement over 95. And these matches were unnecessarily long. Also, you and I talked about that off air. They were just unnecessarily long to the point of where it's like, go home.
Go away.
Yeah, I was seriously yelling at my TV a couple times. I'm like, are you done yet? Pin somebody. Oh, man. And then there were two matches on this card that clocked in less than 5 minutes. Combined, they were about 6 minutes. So we'll get to them. Well, you know, the tagline for Uncensored 1996 was everything you've wanted to see, plus the stuff you haven't thought of yet.
Yeah.
No. What did you think of the opening package for this event, by the way? I thought it was kind of cool.
That was decent. They built it up really well.
Yeah, I thought the build-up was cool. The theme was awesome and like very sinister. And Jimmy Hart laughing like a maniac was kind of cool. Oh, let's go.
And then the bell rang.
Oh, and then that damn bell had to ring. Let's go over some of the pre-show matches here. Mr. JL, who some may know as Jerry Lynn, defeated Dean Malenko in 3 minutes and 20 seconds, which Tony Schiavone would later call an upset. Jim Duggan, or Dugan, depending on, you know, what Jim Ross felt like calling him that day, took on and defeated Big Bubba Rogers in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. By God, I didn't watch it, but I can just assume that was a barn burner. Like, I'm sure it had people out of their damn seats. And Big Dickie Slater took on and defeated Das Wunderkind, Alex Wright. Man. So you put the big, tough redneck guy, Dick Slater, up against this dancing, we'll just call him flamboyant German guy.
Why not?
Yeah, no wonder it ended in 2 minutes. And then the final one was the Steiner brothers fought the Nasty Boys to a no contest in 5 minutes and 19 seconds. Oh, well, because you can't just have one winner in that match, Greg.
There are no losers.
Oh, we're all the losers. Oh, well, before we get to the actual card here, let's just say they're in Tupelo again, in the Tupelo Coliseum, because apparently that's the home of this damn event. Good God.
You know, there's no city more uncensored and wild than Tupelo.
Oh, yeah, the home of the king, baby. Elvis Presley was born there. Yeah, they mentioned a couple times on the show, by the way, the home of Elvis Presley, you know, Elvis was born here. Like, so what? I guess that makes this show important. You want to guess the total attendance for this one, Greg?
3,000.
Wow, you're nice. Well, I will say this. They vastly improved their attendance from last time. In 95, they only did 5,782. This time, they did 9,000 even.
Oh, hey.
Well, they stepped it up because, they thought Hulkamania was coming to an end. So, you got to see that.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, they saw the name Z Gangsta on the marquee, and they're like, my God, gotta get tickets.
I mean, I would.
Oh, hell yeah. He, roars and then clubs people. That's what he does. That's literally all he does, by the way. A little thing I noticed when they brought up the commentators, did you notice, and they had their names up there, did you notice Dusty Rhodes' name was over Bobby Heenan? Bobby Heenan's name was over Dusty Rhodes?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they had the names switched. I'm like, if you didn't know any better... Well, I was going to say, if this was
a bad omen.
Yeah, I was going to say, if this was your first wrestling event and you didn't know any better, but then again, if this was your first wrestling event, you'd never watch another. And I don't know if you noticed this, but they were heavily pushing the tagline. Every time somebody said, in WCW, they had to say, where the big boys play. They said,
I think that's like the year that started.
Yeah, well, they pushed the bloody hell out of this damn thing. They said every freaking time in WCW where the big boys play, and then they moved on. And I'm like, we get it. The big boys play here. All right, move on. Oh. Well, that's just some things I noticed. The opening match here was Conan defending the United States heavyweight championship against Eddie Guerrero. The commentators mentioned that damn Doomsday cage, triple tier cage, about 50 effing times during this match. I'm like, there is a contest going on in the ring that doesn't involve that damn Doomsday cage, right? Like, holy hell.
It's funny because they've already got their people's money. They're watching, so they bought it.
Right. Yeah, that's clearly what they bought this show for, which I don't know why, but whatever. I guess the concept sounds cool in a way, But man, they just pushed the hell out of it. Oh, later tonight, we're going to see that cage. Yeah, I've never seen anything like that cage. It's like, yeah, we get it. The cage is going to happen later in the night. Shut the F up. I'm wondering if this was a concept thought up by Dusty Rhodes. He woke up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, if you will. Because, by God, he pushed the hell out of this like he came up with it. God rest his soul, but seriously. This match went on for 18 minutes, 27 seconds. I was like, wow, this is a really long opening match, but, the rest of the card can't possibly, keep up with that. Wrong. This was just like, wow. And I told you, it seems like they underbooked this card in a way, because they were like, you got 20 minutes, go out there and burn it.
Done.
Not that this was a bad match. It wasn't bad. It was just like, dude, pin somebody. And then the end of the match was weird as hell. Eddie goes for a leapfrog, doesn't get all the way up. It looked like Conan, almost headbutts him in the junk. He drops, and then Conan just pins him for the 3. I'm like,
yeah.
What?
And they go and, the announcers never shut up about it. I think that was a low blow.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he meant to do that or not. Well, I think you of course he did. Well, I don't know. Well, that looked a little low to me. Yeah, we get it, okay? It was just awkward. Just shut up.
And then it was the finish. Everyone what happened? What happened? Conan looked legit surprised that he won.
I know, right? He was like, "Oh, thanks, bye." He was on commentary for the the second match of the night, by the way. They show him on commentary on the Mexican commentary table, or the Hispanic commentary table, I guess, or Spanish, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not joking. Dusty Rhodes says Miguel Cabrera can get what happened out of Conan because he speaks Espanol. Oh my gosh.
Nothing bad there.
Look, God rest Dusty's soul, but I'm going to crap on him tonight, man. It's going to happen. Wow. But yeah, after this epically long opening match, we go to the back where Mean Gene Okerlund is about to interview Colonel Robert Parker before he takes on Medusa in an intergender match, which we'll get to, unfortunately. But Mean Gene says that Colonel Robert Parker is pacing back here, and he said, don't soil yourself before I get to you. I'm like, what the hell?
It's uncensored, man. We can see it all.
It's uncensored. We could see a man crap his pants live on pay-per-view. So here we go. It's not what I'm thinking when I hear the words uncensored. Gosh. But yeah, then we move on to, this was actually a good feud, and they had some good matches in their tenure in WCW, but we move on to this. It's the Belfast Bruiser, who is Fit Finlay. He takes on Lord Steven Regal in a one-on-one match. I will say this, that is one hell of a mullet mustache combo on the Belfast Bruiser.
It was pretty epic.
Yeah, just like, if you didn't know any better, you'd think his name was Jim Bob and he came from the trailer park up the road. And he's got his pack of smokes rolled up in the sleeve of his t-shirt.
Got a couple of tall boys and a couple of lotto scratchers.
What is it with you and the tall boys and lotto scratchers? You know of whom I speak. Oh, man. Well, you know what? My wife said she wanted a divorce, but I'm like, you know what? That's fine. We'll still always be cousins. But you know what I said about, uncensored, anything goes, which, by the way, they pushed the hell out of it again this time around. Anything goes. It's uncensored. Anything can happen. And we see a disqualification.
Yeah.
Second year in a row.
And you'll see the great Earl Robert Eaton.
Oh, my gosh.
Excuse me, the Earl of Eaton.
Yes. Yeah. This match also, by the way, went 17 minutes and 33 seconds. So 2 matches went for over a half an hour. They went for like 40-some minutes combined, okay? Or close to it. I can't do math. But either way, it was a long haul for these 2 matches. And the match ends with, Sir Robert Earl of Eaton, and who's Bobby Eaton, for those of you that don't know. He cut his mullet a little bit and slicked it back. And Squire Dave Taylor, the Blue Bloods, they come out and beat the hell out of the Belfast Bruiser, and Regal gets DQ'd. I'm like, seriously? They made this mistake 2 years in a row? Anything goes, but you can be disqualified. It's just, the hell ever. This match had no payoff. And then Bruiser got up, chased him down, and started wailing on him again. It's just, the hell ever. It's the match that never effing ends, I guess.
Nope.
Yeah, the notes I took during the match, again, I'm going to crap on Dusty, and, I very much respect Dusty Rhodes, not to speak ill of the dead, getting all that out of the way, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Dusty asks, where's Ireland? About 5 minutes from England? Bobby Heenan.
Wow.
Bobby Heenan says 7 miles if you take a bus. God rest Bobby Heenan, man. He was awesome. The crowd gets quiet about halfway into this match, by the way. These guys definitely wore out their welcome.
Yeah, before they even came out.
They were kind of into it for a while, and then they were like, my God, how long is this going to drag on? Yeah, man. Well, thank God it ended with a no decision. Man. Up next, we get an interview with Mean Gene backstage. He's interviewing Loch Ness, and apparently this match between Loch Ness and the Giant later on in the night is now a number 1 contenders match for Ric Flair's WCW title the next night on Nitro. Because why the hell not? We'll announce it. Boom! Right there on Uncensored. Because anything can happen. It's uncensored. Oh, God. But Mean Gene tells Loch Ness that I should introduce you to my neighbor. He's a dentist.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah, he was. And then Loch Ness just glares at him. Like, Mean Gene, you're pushing your luck tonight, buddy. He's just like a smart ass to everybody. But then we move on to our next amazing match of the night. It was Colonel Robert Parker versus Medusa. Yeah. This was a match. All right.
An actual match.
Yeah. I don't know what it was, by the way.
It was fantastic.
Not to get all pervy about it, but Medusa, I thought this was the best she's ever looked. Like, I mean, I'm not talking like in-ring ability, talking physically.
I feel like she bulked up since she left WWE too at that point.
Yeah. Well, right here was I know what you're talking about. Right here, she still had a very girly figure, tan, short blonde hair, and all dolled up and everything else. I thought she looked great, but yeah, and then it kind of went downhill a little bit after that. By the time she was with Macho Man, I was like, she's still attractive, but not quite the same. I thought she looked better here than when she was Alundra Blaze, I'll say that. But anyway, moving past the pervy aspects of it all, I mean, there wasn't really much to go on in this match besides the perv aspects. This was, I don't know, it was super sloppy. Shocker, I know. Robert Parker was knocked outside of the ring at one point. Medusa came off the top rope onto him, and he kind of like caught her, like hugged her, and like set her down on the ground. It was dumb. And then I can't remember what the hell. Oh, she hit a German suplex on Parker. 1, 2, Dick Slater swept her legs out from under her. Robert Parker rolled over on top of her. 1, 2, 3, he wins.
I need to point out that I think he literally pinned her with his crotch in her face.
Oh, man. You can get sued for that nowadays.
Uncensored.
Anything can happen, including Colonel Robert Parker teabags, Medusa in the middle of the ring. Boom. Just, wow. Can that be the end of this, please? I wrote in my notes, Medusa left the WWE to take on Colonel Robert Parker in a god-awful match and lose on pay-per-view. In Tupelo. Yeah. She, she was the WWE Women's Champion at one point, right? You remember that, right?
I do.
And now this. God dang. Let's move on before I get too much more depressed. By the way, this clocked in 3 minutes, 47 seconds. And it was the second shortest match of the night. That's right. There was something shorter than this. We'll get to that.
No pun intended.
Wow. Next, we move on. After that, oh, God. It is the Booty Man versus Diamond Dallas Page.
Who's doing his best Jimmy Jam Garvin impersonation here.
Yeah. He looked like he just came in off the streets, by the way. He just looked awful. I think he was supposed to, because I wasn't keeping up with, the what led up to all this stuff, but judging by what the commentators said, he gambled away all of his money or blew all of his money or something like that, and his wife left him, and blah, blah, blah. So the Diamond Doll had left him, and which was Kimberly Page, for those of you that don't know. And during the match, like halfway through their match, he came out, and apparently the stipulation on this match was if DDP lost, he had to retire or something like that.
Yeah.
So why didn't he? Because he didn't win.
I think it's like a loophole or something, and he comes back and wins Battle Bowl.
Wow. Yay. WCW and their stupid stipulations that never follow through. Gosh. Well, I put this in my notes. Less than 2 years before this, Ed Leslie was in the main event of Starrcade 94. He's now the Booty Man. Keep that in mind. But halfway through this match, Kimberly Page comes down. She's no longer the Diamond Doll. She's wearing a tutu and whatever, the same colors as the Booty Man's outfit. And she's now the Booty Babe.
Because why not?
I just said those words. There's more taunting in this match, by the way, than there is wrestling. Did you notice that?
I did, yeah.
It's a 16-minute match. There was at least 8 minutes of taunting for 8 minutes of wrestling. It's just, God. Booty Man had the weirdest frickin' theme song, by the way, that just made you want to go, what the hell is going on? Like, when his theme hit, you knew nobody good was coming out. It was a theme song that said, go to the bathroom. But the Booty Man wins this match with his finishing move called the high knee. I'm not joking.
The high knee.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. If you haven't heard a worse freaking pun, the Booty Man, his finisher was called the high knee.
Oh, man.
It's just, God dang, this was bad. But, yeah, we go from that, and then he plants one on Kimberly, who is now the Booty Babe. It just, like, and they leave together. It was, wow. By the way, this was not the last we've seen of the Booty Man in this night, by the way, so plug in for that.
Spoilers.
Because you can never have too much Booty Man. Gosh, frickin' Dizzy Hogan. Anyway, we move on.
The man with no name.
Gosh, the Zodiac. And they, by the way, they kept talking about that during the match, by the way. He was a plant from Hogan sent into the Dungeon of Doom to figure out what was going on. I'm like, don't reference that, please. Don't bring that up.
That angle was on fire, man.
By the way, for people that don't remember, if you've never seen Mr. Nanny, the Zodiac had a cameo in that film, by the way. He, and I didn't know, because I didn't know that as a kid, I didn't know the Zodiac was a thing. There's a scene in the film where Hogan's character is out fishing on the dock somewhere, and he falls asleep, and during his nap, he has this, daydream, or this dream in his nap, where he's, like, fighting off these different wrestlers, and one of them is the Zodiac.
Oh.
So, man, it's just riding Hogan's coattails like nobody's business. Hey, good for you, Booty Man. Did we go over his various nicknames, by the way?
No, and I don't want to.
What was your favorite?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go with Big Brother Booty. That was my favorite. I'm not joking. That was one of his names. Moving on, they built this matchup. It was it's a number one contenders match. The winner will face the Nature Boy Ric Flair for the WCW title tomorrow night on Nitro. And they kept building it as Giant versus Giant. 2 minutes, 34 seconds.
And it ends with a leg drop, by the way.
Yeah. It was the Giant with Jimmy Hart versus Loch Ness. And just, wow. By the way, they kept claiming that Loch Ness weighed in at 700 pounds. While the man was massive, I guarantee he was not 700 pounds. I mean,
yeah.
Good Lord. They also claimed that the Giant stood at 7'4". And this was during the era where they kept claiming that his father was Andre the Giant. Just a lot of, alternative facts being thrown around here during this match. But yeah, the Giant finishes off Loch Ness, like you said, with a leg drop, and
Yeah.
God dang.
Oh, man.
Why? I didn't really have any notes for this because it was so short. Like, why? But yeah, so that was that. Then we move on to our next to last match of the night. This match was a Chicago street fight. And it was a very confusing storyline going on here. It was the Road Warriors, Animal and Hawk, versus Sting and Booker T. Apparently, from what I gathered, Luger was Sting's partner, but since he had a contract with Jimmy Hart, he legally had to wrestle in the Doomsday cage match, and he couldn't wrestle with Sting. And
Right.
then he said he promised Booker T if he wrestled. So they were the tag champions, by the way?
Yeah.
Where the hell were the belts?
I don't know.
Did you notice that? There were no belts.
I did notice that, yeah.
Whatever. But anyway,
Oh, man.
Sting promised Booker T, if you are my partner and we win, you help me win, then Harlem Heat will get a shot at the tag titles. So it was it was stupid and confusing. I know, shocker, WCW is stupid and confusing. But anyway, this match went on for 29 minutes and 33 seconds. By God. Like, I honestly didn't think this match was ever going to end.
It was terrible.
Yeah, it was super freaking sloppy. Like, this was a really sloppy-ass match.
We had two cameras the whole time, too. So, like, screen was split.
Yeah, and at one point, two cameras doing split screen were filming the same thing! Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That was during the main event. That wasn't during this match. They did that twice. So, yay. If you love WCW and their split screen, plug in. Hawk no-sold a pile driver. You remember that? You notice that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got pile drive.
Got right up.
Yeah, he got pile driven, stood right up, and then Bobby Heenan and Dusty, well, he's got that thick neck that can, he's a real powerful neck and whatever. I'm like, oh, F off. Like, come on. Towards the end, things break down a bit, and it looks like communication is also breaking down. Everything looked really sloppy. Nobody was connecting with anything. At one point, Sting connected with a clothesline to the side of Hawk's neck that just looked ugly as hell. It's just, and a lot of things were just awful. At one point, Booker T is like, F this, and he starts going to the back because he's had enough. He's tired. He wants to go home like the rest of us do. And Animal follows him. Animal goes to hit Booker. Booker moves. He accidentally... Lex Luger is posing, looking at himself in a mirror. It's just... My God. I've never heard of anything more Lex Luger in my life. But Animal accidentally hits him, knocks him into a trash can. Lex gets pissed, joins in with Booker T, starts beating up on Animal. Then Stevie Ray comes out of nowhere, starts beating up on Animal. And then Jimmy Hart comes out of nowhere and handcuffs Animal to a pillar.
Yeah.
Man,
I forgot about that part.
Yeah. And then Booker goes back to the ring. Sting hits Hawk at one point. Hawk falls backwards against the ropes, and Stevie Ray full sprint blasts him in the back with a chair. Hawk falls forward, and Booker T pins him 1, 2, 3. Boom. And then the commentators, about 50 freaking times during this match, had to get in, anything goes, it's uncensored. We get it, it's uncensored, anything goes, yada yada. Yeah.
And we've already seen a disqualification earlier in the night.
Right. It's anything goes. It's also a street fight, which means, anything goes. It's not just because it's uncensored. But they said it 5,000 times. In case we forget, well, they're hitting each other with broomsticks right now because anything goes. It's uncensored. Oh, my gosh. You remember they kept saying that in 95 as well?
Mm-hmm.
Well, anything goes. It's uncensored. But then Macho Man won his match via disqualification when Ric Flair came out of the crowd. So... dressed in drag. Oh, my God. For a recap of that, it's on iTunes and YouTube. Go check it out if you feel like having yourself a laugh. Anyway, we move on to the reason why we're all here tonight. It's the Doomsday Cage match. It's the Mega Powers, Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage, are taking on the amazingly named Alliance to End Hulkamania. Ah, man, it is a 2-on-8 match, I guess, is what it was billed as. Were there 8 people here? I gotta count.
Yeah.
It was Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Mang, the Barbarian, Lex Luger, the Taskmaster, who's Kevin Sullivan, the Z Gangsta, and the Ultimate Solution. And they also had Miss Elizabeth and Jimmy Hart at cage side, just for the hell of it. Oh, this was, how would you describe this match, Greg?
I can't say it. We're PG.
Does it start with the word cluster?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Screw it, we're uncensored. It was a...
Yeah. Anything goes. It's uncensored. Pyro went off around this damn Doomsday cage like it was never going to stop, by the way. I was like, holy crap, is it the 4th of July? They just lit this mother effer up. It's just, wow. Michael Buffer, by the way, kept referring to the Mega Powers as the Mega Force.
Yeah, I got that.
Like, he said it, like, at first I was like, okay, maybe he misread it. But he said it like 3-4 times. I'm like, does he just, like, not give a damn? Like,
nope.
I don't think they've ever been called the Mega Force. But yeah, this, nothing really remarkable happens in this other than a lot of frickin' powder gets used, like, early on. Like, I don't know. Well, at one point, you know, they break out of the cage at one point. The Mega Powers...
They can only go up from there.
Oh, yeah. Well, they wrestle down to the other ring, and it's... I'm trying to think. It was Macho Man, Hogan, obviously, and it was Kevin Sullivan, and can you remember was it Arn Anderson?
I think it was him and Arn, and then the Faces of Fear.
Yeah. Well, they wrestle down to the ring at one point, and the Mega Powers are apparently doing too well, because then we see the ringers that they bring in. It's the Ultimate Solution, a.k.a. Jeep Swanson, a.k.a. Bane, and the Z Gangsta, a.k.a. Zeus.
Debo.
Oh, man. He's gonna steal your bicycle, man. Give me that chain. Anyway, you notice he used to have the Z's on the side of his head. I don't know why he couldn't still, but now he wrote the word gangsta on the side of his head.
Yep.
And he's wearing, like, baggy pants. Why was he a Z Gangsta, by the way?
Just because.
But him and Ultimate Solution, I'll say this, they were massive. If you had to describe the Ultimate Solution and Z Gangsta there, Greg, how would you describe them? It's uncensored. Anything goes. Come on.
Imagine Mantar and Zeus standing next to one another.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man. At one point, because this Ultimate Solution and Z Gangsta drag both men back to the cage, throw them in, and they're, like, wrestling in the ring in the cage now. Ultimate Solution, like, throws Macho Man around, and the Brain says he threw Macho like, quote, 100-pound infant. What infant is 100 pounds? Yeah.
Poor mom.
I know, like, what the heck? What kind of infant do you know that's 100 freaking pounds? And not an elephant infant, maybe. Or a hippo. Like, but God. Oh, but here's where it starts to really pick up, Greg. Because we see the Booty Man again.
Yes.
And he comes and he slips the Mega Powers frying pans.
Because why wouldn't you use those in this match?
Well, yeah. I mean, why not? And Macho Man's just got, like, freaking tights full of powder, by the way. Like, how many bags of powder can that man stuff down his damn tights? Because he had a lot.
4 or 5.
Yeah, looked like. Because he just powdered the crap out of everybody. And then they took these frying pans and just beat the piss out of everyone with it. I was like, damn. He broke the handle off on Ric Flair's head. Well, eventually, Lex Luger comes in and, you know, the alliance to end Hulkamania, they start to, they start to get beat down again. And the finale of the match was, you know, the amazing finale. Ric Flair's holding the arms of the Macho Man. Lex Luger has a weighted glove on, and he goes to punch Macho. Macho moves, Luger stops, and then goes through the punch anyway, and knocks the crap out of Flair. And
that was clearly on purpose, by the way.
Yeah. Did they make a storyline out of that, by the way?
Yeah, I think he was done with them the next night.
Yeah, I figured, because earlier in the night, Jimmy Hart talks about, you know, he's not his manager anymore, and he was giving him a parting gift, and it was his airbrushed jacket with his face on it. But yeah, so I don't know. The Macho Man gets the win. Yay. This atrocity went on for 25 minutes and 16 seconds.
Oh, man.
Spoiler.
And they literally did kill off Hulkamania, by the way. So.
Yeah, you and I were discussing that because you had texted me last night when I was watching this crap, and you were like, this would actually be Hulk Hogan's final appearance until he showed up to join the NWO. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, you mean to tell me that the Alliance to End Hulkamania actually did end Hulkamania? And you went, holy crap, they did. They lost, and they still ended Hulkamania. So, good for them. Oh, good grief.
Yeah, but who's thanking them?
I don't know.
Should have went away, too.
Yeah. Well, they did. I think they broke up after that. So it was just a weird show. I don't know. But at least we got to see Booty Man multiple times throughout the night. That was always a plus.
Oh, yeah. And Loch Ness, the amazing 5-star.
Yeah, right? Wait, we talked about him on one of our lists, bro. Oh, gosh, this was poop. Well, our next, that was our review for Uncensored 96, by the way. We're not going to bring you a review next time for the podcast Wrestling Extra. Instead, we decided we're going to review one of the most divisive characters in wrestling history. The man who said he doesn't want to be defined for being a part of wrestling, even though that's literally all he's ever done in his entire life that meant anything. We're talking about the man, the myth, the legend, the Archbishop of Talentberry, Vince Russo. We're going to do some good old-fashioned research. We're going to get some bullet points going. We're going to talk about this man who I think the only thing we can, positively credit him for, the two things, one is AJ Styles. I think that was the best because he gave AJ the chance to be the man in TNA. So there was that. The other thing I think is Goldust because a lot of people credit him with, having a huge hand in the making of Goldust. Other than that, I think the man is mostly known for poop, and he continues to say stupid things and blame other people for his shortcomings. So I'm sure you're super excited for this, Greg. I can feel the excitement radiating off of you.
Yawn.
Well, I'm sure.
It's fun to talk crap about him, though.
Oh, it'll be very fun. But anyway, thank you for joining me on this podcast Wrestling Extra, Greg.
Of course.
If you haven't heard our hilarious reviews of Uncensored 1995 or WrestleMania 2, definitely go check those out up on YouTube and iTunes. And WrestleMania 2, if it's not uploaded to YouTube by the time this is posted, it will be shortly. And the other one is uploaded, as well as our review of the Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view, which...
oh my God.
...was voted the worst wrestling pay-per-view in history. So, have fun with that. But we will come at you later. Peace out.
Later.
This has been a Drama City production.